Hare Krishna. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Naruttamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Jayamudiraye. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanachalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Saptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Pancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Shrimate Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharine Visheshwari Paschatya Desha Tarane Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhate Dedim Yat Kripadamaham Vande Shri Gurum Din Taranam Samaranda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hare Haribo, Hare Krishna. So I'd like to welcome all. Like we discussed recently, we are in a very special period of special festivities. We celebrated Balram Purnima. Before that, we celebrated the Jhulan Yatra, the Jhulan Yatra festival. Then we celebrated Balram Purnima. Day after tomorrow, we are celebrating Sri Krishna Janmashtami. And 2 weeks after that, we'll be celebrating Sri Radhashtami. So many wonderful festivities coming up. So it's very auspicious. The last Wednesday class this week, this day, we dedicated to honoring Shri Balaramji. So we did not have a regular Chaitanya Charitamrita class. At that point, I was a bit unsure whether we should continue CC today, even though I indicated we may continue CC today. But then I realized that again, Janmashtami is on Friday. And the only opportunity we have, if we want to keep to a regular schedule to discuss about the glories of Lord Sri Krishna, is today, just 2 days away. So I thought we'll do this. And also, I was thinking this Saturday, because Friday we have Janmashtami, Saturday we have Prabhupada's appearance day. This Saturday we will take a break from the Bhagavatam class because I'm sure devotees will be busy in temple and in so many activities. So that is my intention, and that is why we will not be discussing Chaitanya Charitamrita this week. We will discuss Krishna willing next week on Wednesday, unless there's another inspiration that I get. So so we want to discuss about this beautiful festival of Sri Krishna Janmashtami. So Sri Krishna Janmashtami Gaur Purnima, Radhashtami are amongst the most important festivals for everyone, but all so much more for us. Because this is the day that the original Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in this world. Of course, in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Yada yada hi dharmasya kilangir bhavati bharata bhutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. That I appear yuga after yuga. And most of these appearances of the Lord are either kala or amsha. Part or part of the part. Ete chamsha kala pumsaha. All these incarnations, the Bhagavatam says, are either amsha, part of God, or part of the part of God. Ete chamsha kala pumsa. Krishna Bhagavan Swayam. But Krishna is not amsha or kala. He is Bhagavan Swayam. No matter how many times we repeat this, it is still worthwhile to hear that Krishna is Bhagavan Swayam. The original Supreme Personality of God. Some people say, oh, he's God. He's God. Yeah, they're all God. But there's an original God amongst so many gods. So many incarnations of the Supreme Personality of God, but there is an original incarnation. Original form from whom all incarnations emanate. Just give me a few seconds. Okay. So, Krishna is very, very special. Krishna is very, very special. And when he appears, it is very, very special. Anybody remembers how often Krishna appears in this world personally, without delegating anybody?
Once in a day of Brahma.
And which day of Brahma is it? I mean, sorry, not which day. I mean, in the day of Brahma. When in the day of Brahma?
I mean, is it the 28th Manvantara?
8th Manvantara.
8th Manvantara, okay.
8th Manvantara, 28th Chaturyuga. Okay, so 28th Chaturyuga of the 8th Manvantara. So there are 14 Manvantaras in a day of Brahma. So that's his schedule. It's a fixed schedule. It comes once personally in his original Shama Sundar form. And he comes not just to perform the duties that the amshas and the kalas do, but because all those duties can be performed by his amshas and kalas. I mean, for paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkutam dharma samsthapan, these are, the original boss doesn't have to come. His deputed personalities can do. So why really Krishna comes personally? And we discussed this briefly when we discussed about the introduction of Chaitanya Charitamrita, that Krishna wants to give an opportunity to the living entities to familiarize them with him and his Leela, so that they will get attracted to him. Because Krishna is supremely attractive. So much more attractive even than the other forms. More attractive than Narayan. More attractive than all other incarnations. Extremely. That is why his name is Krishna. Krishna means Akarshayati iti Krishna. All attractive. So Krishna is the all attractive original personality of Godhead. All others are Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is not just Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the original, complete Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purna Purushottama Bhagavan. So that is important to remember. Now Janmashtami is the Ashtami, Janma Ashtami. Ashtami is the 8th day of the waning moon. the Krishna Paksha of the month of Bhadra, Lord Krishna appears in this world. So now the basic pastime of Lord Krishna's appearance, I think most of us are quite familiar. Now I was thinking I want to share some relatively less known details around Krishna's birth. So those who are information enthusiasts who like the finer details of the stories can pay good attention, because today will be very interesting for you. So first thing is we want to discuss a little bit about Vasudeva and Nanda Maharaj's ancestry. Now this is very interesting, right? I mean, many of you know in the pastime of Krishna's appearance how Krishna appeared as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki in the prison house of Kamsa in Mathura. And then he was transferred to Gokul Mahavan, where Nanda and Yashoda were staying. But how many of us ask the question, what is really the connection between Nanda and Vasudeva? Other than we hear that they were friends. Is there any connection? So now I am going to reveal what the Harivamsha says about this. Harivamsha is a literature which explains the Vamsha of Lord Hari. So Sanatan Goswami has written this literature in great detail, and it is accepted as a very authentic literature by all Vaishnavas as far as Krishna's pastimes and Krishna's genealogical dynasty is concerned. So Lord Krishna appeared in what is known as the Yadukula. We all know what Yadukula. So there are broadly two dynasties of Kshatriyas in this world. The solar dynasty, the Surya Vamsha, and the Chandra Vamsha, the moon dynasty. Two lines of Kshatriyas predominantly. Krishna Chandra comes in the Chandra Vamsha, and Lord Ramachandra comes in Surya Vamsha. He appeared in Surya Vamsha. Raghukul in Surya Vamsha. So he has his own dynasty from Ikshvaku, Raghu and others, Dilipa and others. As far as Lord Krishna's appearance is concerned, in the dynasty of the Yadus, after King Yadu, they are known as Yadavas because they are descendants of the King Yadu. 74 generations after King Yadu, there was a great king by the name Vrishni. Many times you would hear of the Yadus referred to as the Vrishnis. The reason they are sometimes called Yadavas, sometimes called the Vrishnis, is because they are descendants of both Yadu and Vrishni. This Vrishni king, a very pious and noble king, he had a son, a very pious Yadav king by the name of Devamida. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Now this Devamida had two wives. He had a Kshatriya wife and a Vaishya wife. Through his Vaishya wife, he had a son named Parjanya. And through his Kshatriya wife, he had a son named as Shurasena. Okay, Devamida, two wives. Kshatriya wife's son is Shurasena, and the Vaishya's wife's son is Parjanya. So the son of the Vaishya wife, Parjanya, was more inclined towards Vaishya-like activities rather than actually a Kshatriya fighting king. So he was given charge of the kingdom of Gokul Mahavan. So he was ruling over all the cowherds. And Shurasena, the son of Devamida, was given the kingdom of Mathura. So Parjanya and Shurasena are brothers. course, step in the sense that they have the same father but two different mothers. Veshparna is the mother of Parjanya and Madisha is the mother of Shurasena. But just suffice for you to remember that Parjanya and Shurasena are brothers. Now, there is an interesting background about Mathura itself, which I want to mention. So some of these stories are very, very less known. And that is why it is good that on such opportunities we get to discuss about them. So the story goes like this, that how Mathura came to be ruled by the Chandravamsha, because long back, thousands and thousands of years back, Mathura was actually ruled by the Surya Vamsha. Now, Lord Ram had three other brothers, right? Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrugna. In the time of Ramachandra, there was a demon known as Lavanasur who was based in Mathura. Lord Ramachandra sent Shatrugna to fight this demon Lavanasur, and Shatrugna killed Lavanasur and established the rule of Lord Ram's clan, the Surya Vamsha, Mathura. And then subsequently, the kings in the dynasty of Sri Ramachandra continued to rule. So Solar dynasty was ruling Mathura. But at a particular point in time, the dynasty of the Solar kings was not able to continue to rule Mathura. The circumstances I am not aware of in detail. But at that time, the Chandravamsha stepped in and started ruling. So Surasena, the son of Devamida, was appointed as the king of Mathura. Okay, so Shurasena ruling Mathura, Parjanya ruling Gokul Mahavan. Now just remember these two names, Parjanya and Shurasena. Now we will talk about Parjanya, who's ruling Mathura, ruling Gokul Mahavan. Parjanya was predominantly, even though he was a king, he was the king of the cowherds. His capital was Gokul Mahavan. There were so many other villages and other cowherd tribes that he would rule over. All Gwalas, all Vaishyas, mainly taking care of the cows and maybe some agriculture and some trade. Krishi, Goraksha, Vanijyam. These are the three activities of the Vaishyas. So Parjanya king, very pious, very devoted, a great devotee of Lord Hari. He had 5 sons. Now this is very interesting. So out of the 5 sons, I'm trying to get the names of the 5 sons. Nanda, Upananda, Mahananda. I'm trying to remember the rest. Sunanda, something to that effect. I do not recollect all their names, but all are versions of Nanda. One is Sunanda, Upananda, Nanda, Mahananda, something to that effect. 5 names. Nanda Maharaj was not the eldest amongst them. So actually, in one sense, he wasn't going to be the king. But the eldest brother, I think it was Upananda, and all the other brothers, understanding Nanda's extraordinary spiritual qualities. Yes, Amit has posted. Abhinanda, sorry, yes. Upananda, Abhinanda, Nanda, Sananda, and Nandana. Thank you, Amit. So Upananda was the eldest. So Nanda was the youngest. But Upananda was so humble. And he saw that Nanda Maharaj had that extraordinary qualities. Everybody loved Nanda Maharaj because of his very loving heart, his humility, his desire to serve, and his extraordinary devotion to the Lord. That Upananda felt, no, I should not become king. I should give the kingdom to the younger brother Nanda. And everybody agreed and everybody said, yes, Jai, Jai. And it was agreed that Nanda would become the king after Parjanya. So that is how Nanda Maharaj became king of Gokul Mahavan. And of course, we know he married Yashoda. So that is the story on this side, the dynasty. Again, right? Just to quickly remember, from the Yadu kings through Vrishni, Devamida. Devamida had two sons, Parjanya and Shurasena. Parjanya had 5 sons, out of whom Nanda Maharaj was one, and he was nominated by everybody jointly to become the king of Gokul Mahavan. On the other side, King Shurasena, he had a wife by the name of Marisha, and he had a son by the name of Vasudeva. Now, this is also a very interesting story, so please remember. And Vasudeva, of course, we know married Devaki. So now it's very interesting. So if you see this, then what is the relationship between Nanda and Vasudeva? Those who have understood the genealogical table, what is the relation between Nanda and Vasudeva?
Half brothers, step brothers.
Cousins, Prabhuji?
Yes, cousins. Okay, so they are like cousins. Okay, because Parjanya and Shurasena, their respective fathers of Nanda and Vasudeva, are actually stepbrothers. Right? Parjanya and Shurasena are stepbrothers. They have the same father, Devamida, but they have different mothers. And in that way, since Parjanya and Shurasena are brothers, Vasudeva and Nanda are actually cousins. They were also very good friends, but they are also cousins. So there is a relationship between Nanda and Vasudeva, and that was one of the reasons why Vasudeva, when he got into trouble with Kamsa, and we will come to that shortly, he sent his other wife, because when he and Devaki were in prison, he sent his other wife Rohini to Nanda Maharaj, because he was ruling the other kingdom, because the kingdom of Mathura was later taken over by Kamsa. And that is why Rohini went to Gokul Mahavan, because it was also another family branch which was ruling Mahavan. So we all know Vasudeva married Devaki. Now there's something interesting. Some people ask, if Shurasen was the king of Mathura, then why Vasudeva did not become the king? Correct? Because he was the son of Shurasena. And then where did Kamsa come from? And where did Ugrasen come from? So this is also something which sometimes devotees get confused about. So I'll put some clarity around that, because this bit of connection is also not often understood by most devotees, because it's not spelled out very clearly. Prabhupada doesn't go into these details. These are mentioned in Harivamsha. So what happened was, Shurasen was ruling. Vasudeva, even though he was in all other ways very qualified, Vasudeva was more inclined, even though he's a Kshatriya, he was more inclined, he was not inclined to ruling the kingdom. He was somehow also more inclined towards cow protection and other duties. So he kind of said that I don't want to become the king. So what happened was, at that time, Shurasen was one of the Yadu kings, but there was another very close friend of Maharaj Shurasena, whose name was Ugrasena. Ugrasena was a king in the Bhoja dynasty. Now this Bhoja dynasty also goes and somewhere connects back to the Yadu Vamsha, but we'll not go into that hierarchy, otherwise it will be too genealogy, otherwise it will be too confusing. But in the Bhoja dynasty, there was a king called as Shurasena who was one of the associates of Shurasena, and this Maharaj Ugrasena was established as the king after Shurasena. And who was Kamsa? Kamsa was the son of Ugrasena. Ugrasena and Padmavati. Now, this statement that Kamsa was the son of Ugrasena and Padmavati, even though at an external level is correct, but actually is not fully factually correct. Now, there's another story behind this story. Of course, we all know, and I'm not going to go into those details, that after Ugrasena took over, Kamsa eventually revolted against Ugrasena, took over the kingdom forcefully. And then he started ruling, and then eventually we know how he put Vasudeva and Devaki in prison. Devaki, even though it is said that she was the sister of Kamsa, actually she was not a sibling of Kamsa. If I remember correct, she's also a cousin. I do not remember at the moment the exact relationship, but she's definitely not a sibling. But she was very dear to Kamsa. Somehow they had a very close interaction within their bigger family. Kamsa has a very interesting story about Kamsa's birth. So this is another very interesting thing. So please hear carefully. Ugrasena was a very pious king, just like Shurasena. Now, many people wonder why suddenly everybody pious was all wonderful, right from Yadu, Vrishni. Suddenly from where this Kamsa came? Because generally we say that in a family of devotees where everybody is pious, why will a sinful entity come there? It generally doesn't happen because a pious soul attracts a pious soul to come. In fact, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that those who are great devotees from previous lives, they get the opportunity to become born in the family of devotees. So what actually happened? What went wrong? So in most of these episodes, something has gone wrong. So what is the story behind the story? So the story behind the story is like this. Ugrasena was married to Padmavati. Now that is actually a very long story, but I'm going to skip the bigger details. The detail. I'm going to come to the gist of it. There was a demon by the name of Drumila. This demon Drumila, once while he was roaming the earth, at that time Padmavati, the wife of King Ugrasena, she was roaming around in the gardens. And at that time, it had so happened that Ugrasena had gone away. So this demon Drumila, when he saw Padmavati was extraordinarily beautiful and extraordinarily chaste. When Drumila saw Padmavati, he became extremely infatuated with her. Now he knew that she would not yield to any of his advances. So what he did, with his mystic powers, he changed his form into the form of Maharaj Ugrasena. And he walked into the garden. And Padmavati, oh, my husband, you had gone away. How come you came back so soon? You were going to come later. I said, no, my work got over. No, I came. I said, oh, wonderful. And suddenly, he became very romantic and started making advances towards her. So she was a bit surprised because this was not typical of how Ugrasena would behave, but she yielded. And then they united. Later, after the union, she could sense that something is not right because this person, even though he's exactly like my husband, his mannerisms and his mood is not like my husband. So suddenly she felt that, oh, this is some imposter. So she immediately challenged him, and he actually then revealed his original form of Durmila, and then she cursed him. And uh, and I think part of the curse was that you know uh, the son would be killed by Krishna because she was impregnated by Durmila. So she knew that the child that would appear would be demoniac, because actually the child was the child of Durmila and not the child of Ugrasena. Of course, Ugrasena was very magnanimous that in spite of this episode, he accepted Kamsa into the family because he understood that his wife had no fault this whole situation, and Kamsa grew up like the prince as the son of Padmavati and Ugrasena. So very few people knew the actual story behind Kamsa's birth. Obviously, this was a very private story, which was not known very publicly. So this is the reason that Kamsa, because he was the son of Durmila, he actually had a very demoniac mentality. So that is why, again, it is so important that parents or to be parents have the right consciousness to invite the right soul at the time of procreation. And that is why scriptures talk about the Garbhadan samskar and so many other samskars to actually attract the right soul and to create the right impressions on the soul who has taken shelter of the womb, so that they grow up to be followers of dharma and ideally turn out to become devotees of the. So in due course, we know Kamsa forcefully took over the kingdom of Ugrasena, and he put Ugrasena into the prison. Again, Ugrasena was in one sense not his biological father. So he put him in prison. And then we know how the whole episode of Kamsa being threatened by the prediction that the eighth son of Vasudeva and Devaki will kill him. So this is the overall genealogy. Any questions around this? Is everybody clear so far? Otherwise, I'm going to move to another topic. Great. So now I want to give a little bit more perspective on the setting of Lord Krishna's appearance. Now, actually, even though Krishna came at an external reason to kill Kamsa, and that is the most often touted reason, right? It's like we say Ram came to kill Ravana, Krishna came to kill Kamsa. Of course, the most internal reason of Krishna coming we have already discussed. But actually, even from the perspective of killing the demons, there is a story behind the story. Now, that story is also very long. I don't even remember all the details. So I'm not going to go into all the details. But essentially what happened was that the demons from across the universe, see, the higher planets are occupied by the Devatas. The lower planetary systems, we're not talking about hell, we're talking lower planetary systems. They are occupied by demoniac individuals, the demons, asuras. So these asuras were thinking that we have to do something, and they were trying to make a plot. We have to do something to gain back control over the universe, because the Devatas are becoming very powerful. So they had a conference, global Asura conference, somewhere, I don't know where they had it. They had a big retreat with a lot of liquor, non-veg food, and dance, all this, and they discussed And they came to the conclusion that if we want to regain the power over the world, the first thing we must do, they made a big plan, a big roadmap. And the first major milestone in the roadmap is to get control over the earth. Now, you may wonder, oh, higher planets are so wonderful, lower planets are so powerful. What is this earth? Why so excited about the earth? Now, earth, even though it seems like such a small speck, and 100 years life full of so much misery, this, that, we can call so many names. But the interesting thing is, as far as the universe is concerned, earth is very, very, very special. And whoever controls earth, which means dharma or adharma, affects the situation of the whole universe. Because somehow the arrangement, the spiritual technology, the subtle technology works in such a way that if there are good forces ruling earth and dharmic and people leading dharmic lives on earth, the devatas will become nourished and good will prevail over the universe. If earth becomes demoniac and people start becoming adharmic, then it weakens the forces of good and gives strength to the forces of evil. This is the basic principle, without going into too much detail. So they know that earth is very special. Yeah. Just like if you want to change earth in today's time, perhaps America is the place that one should go and conquer. Yeah, because the whole world looks at US. Of course, that is slowly changing now. But uh, until India takes over that position, hopefully, Krishna will. But at least as of now, the people look towards the West. So once the West, whatever the West will do, the rest of the planet will emulate. So similarly, the earth was very, very important. So all the demons planned this and they said, how are we going to do this? They said, no, we are not going to attack earth with armies and capture it. They made an elaborate plot by which various powerful demons from the universe would take birth across the earth in different families. And then once they take birth, they had already made a plan. This is how we'll collaborate. This is what we will do. This is how we will control. Detailed plan, just like somebody does a burglary, every moment, everything is tracked. Okay, you'll be here, I'll be here, then we will do this, then they had a detailed plan worked out. And Kamsa taking birth in Shurasen's dynasty through Drumila was part of the plan. And along with Kamsa taking birth, and there is a history of who Kamsa was in his previous lives and all that. I don't want to go into that today because we don't have that much time. Each of these characters have so many stories behind them. But suffice to mention that many other very powerful demons took birth in various places around the many demons. And in Krishna's pastimes, one of the things Krishna did was he one by one killed all these demons. Krishna dismantled the whole plan because Krishna did not approve of the demons controlling the earth. So what happened was like this. When all this plan was done and the demons started appearing, the earth already started becoming very sinful. And lot of atrocities were being performed. Pious people were not allowed properly to follow dharma and so many things. So as the situation of earth was becoming worsened, Mother Earth, Bhumi Devi, became very worried. She went to Lord Brahma, taking the form of a cow. And she complained, said, big plot. There's something notorious going on. Suddenly, a lot of these sinful people have come and they are creating havoc. So Brahmaji also said, yes, seems to be a very sinister plan. These are not ordinary people that we can deal with so easily. These are very, very powerful mystic demons. So he gathered all the devatas and they went to Shvetadvipa. So we all know, right? Shvetadvipa is the pole star, Dhruvaloka, where the ocean of milk, Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, is lying on Ananta. So Lord Brahma, along with all the devatas, went to the bank of the milk ocean, along with Mother Cow. Cow took the form of, Earth took the form of the cow. Because cows are very dear to Krishna. When Krishna sees cows, he becomes very happy. In fact, in many temples, as soon as the darshan opens, the first darshan that Krishna or the deities take is that of a cow and a calf. In many temples, this is followed. I remember I went to Ahobilam. In Ahobilam, there's a very beautiful Narsingha temple. In that temple, every morning, a cow and a calf are brought in front of the Lord to give, so that the Lord sees the cow and the calf. It is said that whoever sees the cow calf in the morning, his day becomes very auspicious. Okay, so they perform that ritual. They actually bring the cow calf into the temple hall in front of the altar and they take them back again. Anyway, so they went there and the devatas along with Lord Brahma, they started praying. So it is said that they started reciting the Purusha Sukta prayers. The Purusha Sukta prayers are very popular prayers, the Vedas, and they recited the Purusha Sukta. They couldn't see Lord Vishnu because they can only see the ocean of milk. Nobody can see Lord Vishnu. You cannot just go and meet him. Hey, hi. The Devatas cannot just go and see Vishnu like that. Even Lord Brahma cannot enter. So it's a Vaikuntha planet. You cannot just drive in or fly in, even if you are a Devata. Restricted area. So all you can do is be on the bank of the ocean of milk and pray. So they prayed they prayed, offered Purusha Sukta prayers. After praying a lot, they still didn't hear any response. So they are wondering what to do. So everybody is looking at Brahmaji. Abhi kya karne ka hai? What to do now? So Brahmaji said, okay. Brahmaji went into meditation and reached out to the Lord to help. So the Lord conveyed a message in the heart of Lord Brahma. And Brahmaji revealed that message to all the devatas assembled, saying that the Lord has revealed that, yes, he's aware of the situation and yes, it needs to be fixed. And the Lord has agreed to descend to the earth planet to perform his pastimes, to assist the devatas to achieve this objective. But he has also instructed all of you devatas that just like the demons have taken birth on earth, you all also should take birth in appropriate families across the earth, so that when the Lord descends, all these devatas can also assist. And he especially asked them to be born in the Yadu Vamsha to assist Lord Krishna in his divine path. So the demons took their birth, the devatas took their birth. Can you imagine earth, it has become a battlefield, but a covert battlefield where the devatas and the demons are fighting, not with weapons. I mean, with weapons, but not in their forms, but as humans. On one side, there's a sinister plan to pollute and defile the earth and make it sinful. And on the other side, the devatas and the great souls have come counteract that plan of the demons. Make sure dharma continues to rule. So this is the bigger setting behind why all these things happen. So we know the beautiful pastime of the appearance of the Lord. So I'm going to just mention one or two other things and then I will just open up the floor if there are any questions. So Vasudeva and Devaki, were in the prison house of Kamsa. Actually, initially Kamsa, when he was trying to kill Devaki, he heard that particular Akashvani sound from the sky as he was driving the chariot of Devaki, that, "Oh Kamsa, you fool, the sister of yours whose chariot you are driving, do not know that the eighth son of this Devaki is going to be the cause of your death." And suddenly Kamsa's all love disappeared. Out his sword, he held Devaki by the hair and he was about to kill her. And Vasudeva was very alert and intelligent. He intervened and he gave a big class to Kamsa. And he said many things about dharma, this, that, but it did not make much sense to Kamsa. But then finally he said one thing to Kamsa. It suddenly made sense. He said, "You see, she's your sister. And plus today is the day of her wedding. If you kill her on the day of the wedding, your reputation will suffer." Now, reputation is very dear to people, correct? Just like any actor, any celebrity. What is the most valuable thing? Their star status. So if you kill her, just imagine what will happen to your reputation. People will start talking about you as a cruel man, and nobody in this world likes a cruel person. Your sister, this is so cruel. And anyway, she is not the cause of your death. It is her eighth son, right? Why are you want to do this and spoil your reputation? I promise you, I will hand over, what to speak of the eighth son, every child that is born, I will hand him over to you as soon as he's born. Okay, my promise. And Vasudeva was considered as a man of honor. Pran jaye par bachan na jaye type. So finally, all these arguments, he knew the caliber of Vasudeva and his promise. And he also knew that killing Devaki so suddenly would actually spoil the situation for him. So he said, okay. So he finally settled and he said, okay. And actually, he let Devaki and Vasudeva go. This is another interesting thing. Sometimes people think that he was immediately imprisoned. He immediately imprisoned Vasudeva and Devaki. But no, he did not do that. So again, that's a long story. But to cut a long story short, what happened was, after the first child was born to Vasudeva and Devaki, Vasudeva, true to his promise, took the child, boy, went to Kamsa and gave it to Kamsa, saying, "As per promise, this is my first child. I'm handing it to you, handing him to you." Of course, it was a very extremely painful situation we can imagine. Imagine for Devaki and for Vasudeva. But Vasudeva knew that Devaki's life would be at risk if he did not fulfill his promise. So he did that. And Vasudeva, when he saw how, Kamsa, when he saw how Vasudeva was so honest and truthful, he became so overwhelmed. It was like, "Oh, Vasudeva, you are so amazing. Oh, what you have done, you have brought your son and this and that. Oh," and suddenly he became overwhelmed and said, no, it's okay. Anyway, it is not the first son of yours who's of problem to me. It is only the eighth son. It's only the eighth son. So you go back. It's okay. Thank you very much. But I don't want to do anything here. You and Devaki and this first son be happy. I'm interested in the eighth. That's my target. So you continue producing babies, and eighth one, make sure you deliver. So Vasudeva was, in one sense, happy, but the scriptures say Vasudeva was still very doubtful. Because, demons, you cannot trust them. They'll say one thing now, suddenly they'll change their mind. And true enough. Now, what happened after this happened? This episode happened, and Vasudeva went back, and Vasudeva and Devaki were very happy. Narad Muni came to know that this is what has happened. So Narad Muni said, "This is not the plot. This is not the storyline. What is happening? The story is going wrong direction." I have to fix the story. So Narada Muni comes to the palace of Kamsa. Narada Muni and Kamsa is very respectful to us because they also know, even though they're devils, they know that these, because personalities like Narada ji, Brahma, and all that are so powerful, they can actually finish off these Kamsa and others easily. So he was very respectful to Narad Muni and he said, oh, this, how is everything? Everything is fine. And he knew that Narad Muni would not lie and he would give good advice. He had a lot of trust. So there was a conversation and Narad Muni said that to the effect, I don't remember the exact conversation, but something to the effect that, oh, I heard that the first son of Vasudeva you have given back. He said, yeah, first son I have given back because it is not the first son who's a problem to me. It is the eighth son, right? That is what the Akashvani said. Narad Muni said, yes, it is correct. It's the eighth son. But is it the eighth son from the beginning or eighth son from the end? Narad Muni just put a doubt in his mind. He just created a small doubt. Just said, eighth from the beginning or eighth from the end. Did the Akashvani clearly tell you? So, no, Akashvani did not tell me eighth from beginning or eighth from end. Arvind said, so he knows eighth from beginning or eighth from, which means, because he doesn't know when it is going to end, how many children she's going to have. So any one child can be the eighth one, theoretically, as per this argument. So when this worm of doubt was wriggling in the mind of Kamsa, his devious nature again came up. And Kamsa, after telling him all these things, he went. Of course, why Narad Muni does this, we will come to that a little later. But what happened was, because of this, Kamsa decided that it is too risky to let things be the way they are. That is when he decided to imprison Vasudeva and Devaki to make sure every son is taken care of. And he was very cruel. Each child he would, after birth, including the first child, he would smash and kill on a stone. That stone is still there. Currently, it is inside the mosque at the disputed Mathura Janmabhoomi Sthan. So an effort is being made to reclaim it. Let us see what happens. But that actual room is closed as of now. Now, since we have only 5 minutes, there are so many points to discuss, but I just want to briefly explain why this was done. Because some people wonder, oh, why? The story was going to a happy ending. And why Narad Muni came and spoiled it? So nice. It seems like Narad Muni is the cruel one. But no, actually what happened was, again, there's a long story behind this, but I will tell you the short version. The short version of the story is, the first 6 sons of Vasudeva who were killed by Kamsa. So the 7th one was Balaramji, was transferred. The 8th one was the daughter who slipped out of the hand of Kamsa and became goddess Durga. Correct. So 6 ones he was able to kill. Now the story behind the story is that all these 6 children that Kamsa killed were actually Kamsa's own children in his previous life. Okay. So he thought he was being smart, but he was not knowing he was killing his own children from a previous lifetime. Now that's a long story. I don't want to go into that. You can try to look it up or we can discuss it another day. But it so happened that based on a curse that Kamsa had in his previous life, that he was destined to be the reason for the death of his own 6 children. They were supposed to be killed with his own hand. Because who will kill his own children with his own hand? So his own children became born as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki and were killed by Kamsa, thinking they are their children, but in the previous life they were his own children. So he was actually punishing himself also that way. He was fulfilling the curse. So that is one explanation given. The second explanation is the Devatas as well as Narad Muni were very eager that Krishna appear soon. And because the story was not going according to plot, they wanted to make sure Kamsa becomes more atrocious. The more atrocious Kamsa becomes, the more sooner Krishna will come. So they were stimulating him, aur thoda karo, so that papon ka ghada bhar jayega, your sin will, and then Krishna will come. So they also knew these 6 were his own sons, everything was orchestrated. So he performs also sins, he kills his own children also, and plus Krishna comes sooner. And another explanation that the Acharyas give is, these 6 children represent the 6 anarthas. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsara. Lust, anger, greed, envy, illusion, pride. After these 6, so the philosophy is like this, that Devaki's womb initially had one by one these 6. Before Krishna can take birth in us, first these 6 enemies have to be killed. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsara. Those who have these 6 and think Krishna can appear, no, Krishna is not going to appear. First these 6 have to be removed. After that, 7th one, Krishna doesn't come 7th. Balaram comes 7th because Balaram is Guru. Balaram comes and cleanses us from any other remaining contamination because he's Guru. His Kripa is needed. And he makes our heart suitable for Krishna to appear. So the anarthas have to be removed, Guru's grace has to be achieved, then Krishna will come 8th. So that is the explanation of the sequence. So everything that happens in the Lord's pastimes is a deep purpose, and there are so many stories behind the stories. Nothing is whimsical. So this is another beautiful pastime. So in that way, so many beautiful pastimes. There are so many other beautiful pastimes, but it's almost 10 now. So I'm going to stop here. So please read. There are so many wonderful books on Krishna's appearance. So I hope that whatever few pastimes we discussed about the genealogical details of Krishna's family, as well as the various other details around Kamsa and these various beautiful pastimes, hopefully they were enlightening to you. So I'm opening up the floor for any questions or comments. So please, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, Janmashtami, if you can fast until midnight, ideally without food or water. At midnight, because next day we are fasting for Prabhupada's appearance day, we generally take Ekadashi Prasad at midnight, not grain Prasad. Those who are not fasting the next day, because we recommend that, especially those who are disciples or aspiring disciples, they should fast because he's our Sampradaya Acharya. If not, you can take grains on after midnight. But best to take, for those who are fasting the next day, they should take Ekadashi Prasad after midnight and then continue to fast until noon the next day. And please worship the Lord nicely. Ideally, visit the temple, participate in the festivities in the local ISKCON temple, wherever you are. Encourage everyone to offer some donation for our own purification, the temple, whatever way, according to our capacity. And in that way, honor the Lord. So the Maharati will of course be at midnight. So do like that in your own way. And I wish you all a happy Krishna Janmashtami. Any questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Sudhir Sundar.
Very, very challenging and complex stories you have told. Okay, basically, I think I just wanted to share a point. I mean, in terms of what is that? other castes like us. I think one of the important point I think I kind of listen from one of the class is that as the devotee, we should try to cleanse our heart so that it kind of removes all the six anarthas as you what is that? So I think if we can try to put into practice some of these things, I think it will be a big achievement for us. Thanks, Prabhu.
Was it very difficult to understand the stories? Was it complicated?
No. It is not so much the story, Prabhu. What is that lineage and all. I mean, in terms of how they are related and all this thing. In terms of that context, Prabhu, because I'm doing some what is it work at the same time. I think because of that, maybe I couldn't.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Can anybody briefly explain to me what is the connection between Vasudeva and Nanda? Anybody has understood? I want to see how many can. Anyone?
Yeah, cousins, right, Prabhuji?
Yeah, cousin. So what is the name of the father of Nanda?
Parjanya and Surya Sen.
Surya Sen is the father of Vasudeva. Correct. And who's the father of Surya Sen and Parjanya?
Devamida, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Devamida. Okay, good. Okay, so yeah, even if you don't remember all these details, it's okay. But I just thought it is good to be aware that they are all related. And even though there is one is Kshatriya family, one is a Vaishya, they are actually coming from the same descendants. I think that's all you need to remember. The names are good to know if you know. If you don't, it's okay. No problem. Suraj, yes, you have a question?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. One doubt I always have. Vasudeva and Vasudeva, right, Prabhuji? How is it different? Actually, naming part. I know one is Krishna's father and other is Krishna, but the pronunciation is Vasudeva and Vasudeva. So how do we understand?
Very simple. Vasudev's son is Vasudeva.
Yeah, but the spelling is almost same, so I have some confusion.
That is English problem. That is not. In Devanagari, it is Vasudev and Vasudev, Va and Va. So unfortunately in English, if you don't put diacritics, both is VA. But one is VA, one is VAA. Vasudev and one is Vasudev.
So the meaning remains the same or is different, Prabhuji?
Vasudev's son is Vasudev. Just like Aditi's son is the Adityas.
Okay.
Right. So in Sanskrit, there is a way in which somebody's son is indicated by adjusting the name of the father or the mother.
Okay.
Yeah. So just like, Vrishni's descendants are known as Varshneya.
Okay.
Yadu's descendants are known as Yadava. So there are some Sanskrit rules. I do not know what exactly is the rule applied, but oftentimes the first letter becomes A instead of A. And in that way, it indicates the descendant.
The other question, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So please, this is a good point you mentioned. Please, devotees, when you refer to Krishna, you do not say Vasudev, you say Vasudev. Vasudev is the father. Krishna is Vasudev, not Vasudev. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Prabhuji. Other question, Prabhuji. It's like Kauravas and Pandavas, they belong to Kuru dynasty, right, Prabhuji?
Yes.
But Kauravas is referred as Kurus and Pandavas like Pandava, but the dynasty is Kuru. So
you should read Bhagavad Gita 1.1 purport. Prabhupada explains the answer to this question. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yutsavaha mamakaha pandavas chaiva. So all of them are from Kuru dynasty, no? But Dhritarashtra treated Pandu's children separately. So even though all of them are Kurus and Kauravas, he tried to keep the Pandavas separately. That's why he was Pandava. Mama kaha Pandavas cheva. Mine, the Kuru Vansha and the Pandavas. He tried to separate them. But they are actually the same family. They're all Kurus. Even the Pandavas are Kaurav, in the sense that they are descendants of Kuru. Correct? Because they are, again, it's a similar relation like this, right? Both are sons of different mothers, same father. I'm talking about Pandu and Dhritarashtra. Correct? Yes?
Yeah.
Correct.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Again, Pandu, children become Pandav. Kuru,
Yes.
descendants Kaurav.
Yeah.
Yadu, Yadavs. Like that.
Wonderful. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hari, Hari. Okay, any other question, comment? Wonderful. So I wish you all a blissful Janmashtami festivity. The secret to fasting on Janmashtami is to eat very light the previous night. Those who think that I can fast better by eating a lot on the previous day night, that is the formula for disaster. So eat very light on Thursday night so that you can fast. Otherwise, what happens is you get more acidity. If you cannot fast fully, drink water and fast. If you cannot just drink water, eat fruits. You cannot do that Ekadashi Prasad, but at least at some level, based on your capacity, try to fast. Okay, thank you very much. Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki jai, Janmashtami Maha Mahotsav. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So those who are in KL, I am inviting you also on behalf of the temple also, not only for Janmashtami, but next day, morning program up to noon is Prabhupada appearance day. There will be a big feast in the temple on Sunday morning, noon, around 1 o'clock. So we'll get an opportunity to do Abhishek for Prabhupada and also to get beautiful Mahaprasad. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Bol.
Thank you. So again, Saturday no class, so we will meet on next Wednesday now, where at the moment my intention is to discuss Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay. Thank you. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
And Janmashtami, whoever is.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank
Hari
you.
Bol. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prashant,
Thank you,
Amit.
Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hari Bol, Rishikesh. Nice to see you.
Hare Krishna.
See you on Friday, Rishikesh.
Hare
Dalmiji, Hare Krishna, Bhaskar.
Hare Krishna.